Those 2x4s are just there for something they call a roost. That's basically where all the chickens sleep. They climb inside this coop at night, and then they climb up on top of the 2x4s. They all bunch together most of the time, and that's where they sleep. And that's good because that's where they also go poop. You were asking about the mess. If you look inside right now, you see that I just cleaned it out today. And I'm going to show you something while Bonnie holds the camera. That's a nice trick to know. What we have is we just have a piece of plywood that fits in there. Unfortunately, I closed the other side. You can't see. Anyway, this piece of wood slides in, slides right under the roost. And what that does is it catches all their waste. And when it's time to clean up the coop, you wear gloves, you grab this piece of wood, and you slide it out, and you carry it like a tray by a waiter. And you carry it right out of this place. And in our case, we dump it into a pile over yonder. Okay, and I chop it into the dirt, which is kind of crazy, I know, but it is going to be great fertilizer for the garden that we're going to grow eventually. I recommend that you have a shovel, gloves, and a flat scraper, because sometimes their waste can be wet and it's easier to scrape it off. Naturally, you want the gloves too. If you come out here, you can see I made this thing just about high enough. You could make yours a little bit higher. If I could do it again, I would have made it another 6 inches higher so it'd be easier to walk in here. You'll see that the wire goes up the walls, and we also have it across the top so that you don't have a predator fly in here and kill your girls. If you come close, Bonnie, show her the bottom. At the bottom here, I used a different wire. This is really tiling wire. This is for tile in bathrooms. And I used this, and I dug it way down, about 12, 14 inches down, and I bent it in so that raccoons and foxes will try to dig their way in. And if they keep hitting this wire, it's very sharp. And they'll get cut real quick, and they'll get discouraged. That's all you want to do is discourage them. The other things you should know is Bonnie puts the camera on these soft spots. When the girls go out during the day in your yard, you have to leave the coop open so they can return and make eggs. So you're forced to leave the door open. Unfortunately, that brings rats, okay? So when you decide where you're going to put your coop, think about it twice. Think about where is the wind blowing from in the summertime. Is it blowing right to your house from the coop? You don't want that. You want to put it to the side so you never have to get a smell. If Bonnie turns the camera, you see how far we are from the house. We don't ever get any smell from our house, from here to the house. It doesn't reach. It really doesn't smell that bad. Summertime is the only time you'll get flies and you'll get a smell. Other than that, they're pretty harmless. So to protect them, you want a gate that you can lock. We lock ours just like this. It's not anything special. It's just a hasp. It's easy. No big deal. Nobody's getting in. You got to remember, the most important thing is, got to get back there at nighttime to close them in. I've forgotten more than probably 2 or 3 times. And what you should know about chickens is nighttime, they are blind. They see nothing. So if they can't get in here, if the door is open and the windows are closed, and you're in your house thinking, oh, they're home, they're in their house, they might not be. So we have rocks and bricks and stuff to keep the gate open just so that it can't blow closed. Something to think about. What else should I tell her? They bring a lot of pleasure because, like I said, if Bonnie puts the camera on them, they basically take care of your property. They take care of all the bugs. I mean, we really had no ticks or mosquitoes last year. I don't know if it was the weather or it was them. I like to think it was them. Their waste is a great fertilizer if you're going to grow any plants or any gardening. And they're pretty much like your family after a while. You name them. Also, when we chose them, I chose as many different kinds as I could from the Agway that we had, which was it's a feed place. That's where we got ours. So I would recommend that you get as many kinds as you can. This way you have a nice rainbow effect when they're running around your yard, and they all have different personalities.
This is Ugg. She's got hairy legs.
Yeah, I really should know the names of these
Ugg
chickens,
boots.
but I completely forgot what their variety was. But they pretty much forage all day long. They take naps. You have a little bit more predator problem than we do. We only really have to worry about raccoons at night, and we have to worry about fox at night and the hawks in the day. But we have the dog who keeps the hawk away for the most part. And now we have 2 demon cats that we are hoping will start to do number on the rat problem. It's another reason why you want to keep the coop far from your house and the food. I keep the food in spackle buckets, Lauren, because they can seal very well. And I can leave them outside and nothing can get into them. You'll have to house your feed in a smart way, because that's what actually brings the rats. And that's what they're interested in. And by the way, they're not the rats from the city that go biting your children. They won't do that. They're only interested in the food and the water, and they don't ever want to see you, and you never get to see them. They're very elusive little creatures. Other than that, it's all good stuff. If you have any other questions about this, feel free to call at any time. This is the time for you to start looking for a house or a chicken coop or building one. And Easter is as far as you want to go, because they should be ready to go outside about the end of May. All right, kid. Best of luck. Hope it works out. Hope you do it. Tune in another time for Eggs or Us. Bye.
Bye, Laura.